It's 43 days to Dubai Expo 2020, connecting minds, sharing the future. Hello and welcome to News Blitz. These are stories making headlines. Zimbabwe on the brink of a COVID-19 fourth wave. Police make arrests over teen mother's death. South Africa Parliament elects a new speaker. And in sport, Chevron's leave for Ireland. We start off our bulletin with the latest on COVID-19, with the country seemingly winning the fight against the pandemic's third wave. It appears the worst is not over yet. Zimbabwe is now on the verge of a COVID-19 fourth wave. Health and Child Care Deputy Minister Dr. John Mangwiro warned citizens that the fourth wave is likely to be more potent than the previous ones. He was speaking during a tour of local clinics in Harare, where he was assessing the country's vaccination program.
Zviya vinga first dose kana second dose mese munongouya anoda kubayiwa first dose mishonga yacho iripo, anoda kubayiwa second dose hapana achadzoserwa kumba. Handiti nekuti papa chimboita tumaconfusion bichana, asi iye zvino zvanaka muchaona kuti maakufamba zvakawedzerwa kudarika zvamava muchiita, nekuti taona kuti maswera makangomira pa muchida kuvaccinatwa. Handiti tisamborega zvedu nekuti chirwere ichi maona kushayika kwaita vanhu yanga iri third wave. Kune dzimwe nyika izvozvi vato mu fourth wave, and the fourth wave yacho inenge iri kukuvadza kutodarika third. Saka tiri kukurudzira veruzhinji kuti uyai mubayiwe manhomba dzenyu pano. Handiti.
Meanwhile, as the national COVID-19 vaccination campaign continues, some citizens have urged authorities to decentralize vaccination centers and make sure that the vaccines are readily available. ZTN spoke to some residents in Harare's Budiriro suburb.
Tauya panapa Maxine, but nanasa tichatabatsirwa. Indiri pa number 58. But nanasa hapana kana anything chambo tichaitika. Pana nagogo vamwe vanhu vapedzisira vaita give up vaenda. Asi havana kumbobvira vambovaccinatwa. Isi tiri kutorwa masecond dose. Tofanira kunge tatorwa kudhara but hasati aitwa. Kubvira Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nhasi yaWednesday. Tofanira kunge tatorwa mavaccine musi weMonday. But nhasi yacho Wednesday hapana chati chaitika. Vanhu vari kudzoserwa kumba, vamwe vapedzisira vaita give up because mukati vari kuita slow.
Tauyawo kuma5 asi nokuda kana kuti nokuda kwokuwanda kwevanhu here, nguva yacho yavatanga yacho yanonoka. Saka takangomirirawo nenzara tatova nayo kuti tibayiwe. Tiri kubayiwa rechipiri rekupedzesera. Zvino takangomira kuti dai vangotibaya taenda ido. Ndo maonero angu.
As of Wednesday, 1,348,374 Zimbabweans had been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. As Zimbabwe's government continues to work with stakeholders for a safe reopening of schools, teachers have come up with new demands. They now want classes to resume with a maximum of 20 pupils per class to limit the spread of COVID-19. Previously, a single class could carry over 30 pupils at a time. Zimbabwe Teachers Association Chief Executive Dr. Sfiso Ndlovu says the current 1 teacher to 35 students ratio will expose both teachers and learners.
Classrooms that we had were meant to have students who were up to 42. And now if we have that, then the issues of doubling the spacing would have been improved. So it is all about spacing, one thing for certain, and it's all about the issues of protocol as given to us by the World Health Organization and our ministers of health.
Zimbabwe Rural Teachers Union Vice President Gibson Mashungu said government should make sure that the 1 to 20 teacher-student ratio is implemented in rural schools.
Actually, it's something that we raised when we had a meeting with the government on the 13th of this month. And it is a standard that the normal practice should be of 1 to 20. But looking at the raw setup, we also don't have options or alternatives because it's a matter of health. We cannot select or sideline or give a preferential treatment to both learners and teachers of different constituents. That is the urban and the rural. So if we are to apply the principle, it should be across the board.
In response, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education spokesperson Taungana Ndoro said the teacher's suggestion is already being implemented at early childhood development level.
Well, their suggestion obviously will be taken on board, but remember we already have a 1:20 ratio in our ECD classes for as part of our standard operating procedure. So it's not unreasonable that they say 1:20 because our ECD already has got that as a standard operating procedure, whilst the rest of the other levels it's 1:35. So it's okay.
NatFarm is coordinating an exhibition of locally produced personal protective equipment. The initiative is meant to establish economic growth anchored on key sectors such as local manufacturing. NatFarm Acting Manager Director Ivan Gibson Dumba said he was happy with the response from local universities and other stakeholders.
The timely response by state universities and local manufacturers bore testimony to the view that Zimbabwe has the capacity to produce locally its requirements of medicines and medical supplies and other essential items. The exhibition, therefore, provides an ideal platform to display this capability and serves to motivate local industry to venture into the production of medicines and other essential commodities.
President Emerson Mnangagwa has commissioned a multi-million-dollar gas plant in Feruka, Mutare. The oxygen plant was developed by local company Verify Engineering, which operates under the Harare Institute of Technology. Besides the medical supplies, the company is also providing the oxyacetylene welding supplies, important in the fabrication industry and the only way of welding away from a good electricity supply. To ensure that the medical oxygen reaches the hospitals and others who need it, the company had already imported 5,000 cylinders, with a further 5,000 set to arrive in the country soon. At least 35% of the country's agricultural produce is lost due to poor harvesting and storage facilities. Zimbabwe's Agriculture Minister, Dr. Anxious Masuga, said to avert this, digitalization of agriculture will improve efficiency.
Through food waste and post-harvest storage, and quite a substantial leakage in the food systems, and this can be as high as 35%. The post-harvest spoilages negatively affect food safety, as infested food is less nutritious, exposes farmers to risks of infections and to disease burden. Further, farmers' incomes are lost through lower prices at markets. There's need to improve storage facilities across the value chain to secure and preserve nutritional quality of the crops harvested. And in this regard, the government has recently launched a presidential grain protection scheme to ensure that we secure the harvest.
At least 21 Zimbabwean migrants have been reported missing since 2014 after embarking on journeys to South Africa. According to the International Organization for Migration's recent report, families of missing migrants, their search for answers. Most of them may have been swept away after attempting to cross the Limpopo River, which separates the two countries. IOM Regional Data Analyst and focal person for the Missing Migrants Project, Emmanuel Koshi, speaks.
IOM identifies 5 recommendations in the report to help support families of missing migrants in Zimbabwe and to help fulfill Zimbabwe's commitment under SDG 10.7 of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development to cooperate closely at the international level to facilitate safe, orderly and regular migration, and Objective 8 of the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly and Regular Migration, which calls on states to save lives and establish coordinated international efforts on missing migrants.
In some depressing news, Hatirarame Momberume, a member of the Johane Marange Apostolic sect who had been on the run following the death of his 15-year-old wife, has been arrested and is expected to appear at Mutare Magistrates Court today. He is facing rape charges. National Police spokesperson, Assistant Commissioner Paul Nyati said the person who died is Anna Machaya, not Memory, who is older and married in Mondoro. Anna Machaya's parents are now being charged for misleading the police. Police spokesperson, Assistant Commissioner Paul Nyati speaks.
Yeah, the Zimbabwe Public Police confirmed the arrest of Kurarami Momberumi, alias Evans Momberumi, in connection with the pregnant and subsequent death of a minor aged 15 at Marange Shrine on the 15th of July 2021. We want to state that the correct facts are that the person who died is Anna Machaya, who was born in July 2006, and not Memory Machaya. Memory Machaya is alive and married to another man in Mondoro. So we have also arrested, or we are charging, the parents of Anna Machaya for defeating the cause of justice after openly lying and producing false documents indicating that the person who died was Memory Machaya, which was totally false.
Staying with crime, police in Mashonaland Central have arrested 2 women, Happiness Kandunduma of Chevakadzi Village and Jessica Mataja of Rangameri Farm, for infanticide. The duo gave birth and threw the infants into pits and dam respectively. Investigators say Happiness gave birth alone in the bush and threw the baby into a pit. The crime came to light after a dog arrived at an informant's yard dragging the baby's corpse, resulting in the arrest of the suspect. Mashonaland Central Police spokesperson, Assistant Inspector Naison Dliwayo speaks.
Police received a tip-off. They received a tip-off. The police interviewed Happiness Kandunduma, who confessed that on the 12th day of August 2021, she gave birth to a baby girl while alone in the bush. She then raped her before throwing her into a shallow pit.
The other suspect, Jessica Mataja, gave birth alone in her hut and wrapped the newborn baby in a plastic and threw her in a dam where the infant drowned. Assistant Inspector Naison Dliwayo gives us more.
Police interviewed the accused person, who in this case is Jessica Mataja, a female adult aged 40 of Rangamere Farm Compound, Burwi. Rangamere Farm Compound in Burwi, who narrated that on the 29th July, at around 18:20 hours, she gave birth to a live baby boy while he's alone at home in a kitchen hut. And on 30 July, at around 04:00 hours, the accused person took the baby and proceeded to a nearby dam where she wrapped the baby together with a stone using a plastic bag and stuck through the plastic bag.
We now move to stories beyond our border, where South Africa's National Assembly is expected to elect a new speaker today. The position became vacant following the recent appointment of former Speaker Thandi Modise to cabinet. The election will be done via secret ballot at 3 sites in order to observe COVID-19 protocols, as all members will be present physically. The African National Congress has nominated former Minister of Defense and Military Veterans Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula to succeed Modise. The trial of the American R&B singer R. Kelly has begun at a court in Brooklyn, New York. The star is accused of racketeering, sexual abuse and bribery, charges which he has repeatedly denied. Some of the allegations made against the singer, whose full name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, date back more than 20 years. If he's convicted on all counts, he could be sentenced to several decades in prison. And with that, we've got sports news coming up. The Zimbabwe cricket senior men's team, the Chevrons, have left the country for their tour of Ireland and Scotland. Speaking ahead of departure today, head coach Lalchand Rajput said he expects an improved performance from his side. Zimbabwe are coming from an ODI series whitewash at the hands of Bangladesh at home.
We are going with a young team, and the young guys have really raised their hand against Bangladesh. You have seen that. We could not cross over the line, but I'm sure we will definitely cross over the line in Ireland, because that 3-match experience will definitely take them forward. Because both Sean, Craig, they're all, because we have missed most of the time, most of our senior players, so they're coming in definitely helps, and these youngsters will definitely revolve around. And you know how Sean is. Sean is a big competitor, and I'm sure things will fall into place. Definitely improvement is, we have to win, that's important. And then following on from the T20 to the Super League, so we got to take some points, that's very important for us. So we want to have a improvement of winning matches, that's very important.
Zimbabwe has been confirmed as hosts of the ICC Women's World Cup qualifier end of this year. The 10-team tournament is scheduled for November 21 to December 5. The tournament will determine the remaining 3 teams for the ICC Women's World Cup 2022 in New Zealand. In local football news, Black Rhinos Queens are motivated ahead of the COSAFA Women's Champions League in South Africa next week. The Army side has started training after being cleared by the SRC last week, and we spoke to the team's midfielder, Talent Mandaza.
We are happy the government has approved us of starting training. We started training, the girls are happy, morale is high since we are the first team to compete in these CAF games. So we are hoping for the best, and we wish the rest of the nation to support us.
Zimbabwe Warriors star Kama Billiard turns 31 today. So apart from personal goals achieved so far, what other boxes must the Kaizer Chiefs star tick? Kama must score 34 goals in the next 2 seasons that he's contracted to Chiefs to become the all-time top scorer in South Africa. Kama reached 90 goals last week against Sundowns and is 33 goals behind all-time top scorer Siyabonga Nomvete. It's a very happy birthday to Kama. And on that good note, we say goodbye from here at News Blitz. Stay with us, of course, on Twitter at ZTN News, Instagram at ZTN, and our website ztn.co.zw for these stories and more. Thanks for watching.